Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 24th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. You can see the system moving in. If you notice, take a peek outside across much of the region here. We're dealing with some clouds out there. Had a pretty warm day yesterday, but for Seattle, places like Portland, some of the Willamette Valley, but things are definitely cooling off today, and we're going to have some showers and some rainfall moving across the area. Already got some ongoing across western BC and trying to move into western Washington as we speak. We'll be diving into those details. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as always as we go through the video here today. And this is Spokane National Weather Service. You can see lesser amounts across places like Fritzville and Moses Lake. But once you get towards Spokane and some of the higher terrain, we're going to pick up some precipitation out of this event. Rain continuing on in through Friday. And this is the breezy winds. So you can kind of see Ellensburg. I'm going to get some gusty winds out there. Nothing too crazy, but it will be out of the west. And it could even kick up some blowing dust for some locations. So heads up for that. Now, taking a look at what's going on here. So you can see Washington. You can see our 500 millibar low pressure system right here. So this is the trough we're dealing with now, kicking that onshore flow. And we're going to be dealing with the troughing for a while. As you can see, we're still going to be dealing with this as we go on in towards the weekend. And then you can see the Gulf of Alaska low really gets cranking here as we go on into the early portion of next week. Pretty chilly looking upper level low. And it might be with us for a while as we go on into towards next week. Now, looking at 850 millibars, I just kind of want to show you what's going on here. So you can see the cool down we're dealing with. There goes our low pressure system there, and you can kind of see the cooler air just hanging out. We're not looking at any ridging or anything. And then you can see that next troughing as we start to go through Sunday and on into Monday here, just kind of hanging out. But the good news is we could bring some meaningful precipitation with some of these systems and some mountain snow as well. So that is always the upside to these events as we go through the end of April on into early May. If we look at total snow in the National Blended Models, you can see a little bit here for some of the Cascades in BC, but the better amounts start to show up here as we roll in towards the end of the week, maybe a little bit more higher peaks mainly. But then as we scroll on in towards next week, you can see better amounts starting to show up here. Of course, that cool trough right off the coastline here, upper level low, we're going to be, having that potential at least for some higher elevation snowfall. You can see the Rocky Mountains of Alberta, British Columbia getting some snowfall. They definitely need it there. We need it across the Cascades of Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia as well. Now, taking a look at temperatures coming up, you can see, again, 70 yesterday at Seattle, but not too bad here across some of western Oregon. I mean, you are getting into the 60s here. It's better than what it was a few months ago, right? But you can see as we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we don't have any warm-up coming up here. And then we're going to be dealing with that next trough sitting right off the coastline here. So we are definitely going to keep things right about average or below average for some locations. Now, taking a look at 80-meter wind speed, I just want to kind of highlight this, that we're dealing with these gusty westerly winds coming down to the Cascades here. And you can kind of see these pick up as we go through the afternoon today and towards this evening there. And yeah, not too big of a deal here, but just kind of pointing that out. And you can see the system as we go through Thursday. Tomorrow is going to be a rainier day. More on that here in a moment. Looking at Seattle yesterday, 70. The record high was set back in 1977 was 72, and we got pretty close to that. No rainfall, of course, and we've had a very dry April so far, only 0.43. We do have the chance as we go towards the end of the month to build on that a little bit here, but we're almost certainly going to finish below average coming up. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station, go ahead and click on that link down below. Save 10% off. I've changed the code down there, so make sure to note that. Click on that link and enter the code, and you get that discount there. But it's a very fun weather station. It's got a great smartphone app. Stores all the data for you in the cloud. Taking a look at it, the 850 millibar temperature with the 6-hour precip. So you can see as we go through this morning, you can see what's going on. You can see some precipitation across BC, western Washington, trying to creep down towards northwest Oregon, the Cascades here. But Thursday's system is going to be rainier. Look, as we move through the morning hours here, we do spread some light precip across some of the Puget Sound, Willamette Valley, the Cascades, getting a nice dousing of rainfall here as well. So you can see the low pressure system right off the coastline here as we move towards about 7 p.m. on a Thursday. You can see even a little bit of precipitation trying to get in towards the eastern portions here as well. I mean, it's not going to amount to too much here, but you'll notice the cloud activity for sure. And then you can see this precip kind of continuing on as we go through the day. Friday, another showery day coming up here as we go. Now, taking a look at total precipitation in inches, this is the National Blend of Models. Put this into motion. And the big picture here is, well, I want to show you, we're doing with a little bit of an upgrade here and the uptick here as we go through next week for some of these precipitation amounts. You can see a little bit lesser rain shadowing here across some of the Puget Sound. You could get up over an inch here by the time you get towards early May. And of course, some big amounts showing up still across the mountainous areas. Look at some of the Cascades getting up 3-4 inches of precipitation here. And hopefully some of this falling as mountains snow. And we scroll way off into the extended forecast. Not a bad signal there because we are well below average for this time of year. Now, taking a look at Seattle Metro, you can see the red line is the average highs for this time of year. And as we go through next week, generally below average temperatures in the 50s for the most part. We might squeak out a 60-degree day or two as we go, but then maybe in the extended forecast we'll warm up a little bit. But again, that's way off into fantasy land. Taking a look at Eugene, Oregon, we got that stretch of below average temperatures as well. Portland, something similar, and Bellingham, Washington, solidly in the 50s there, and just below average temperatures. The troughing will be nearby. Now, 8 to 14 day, you can see through May 7th, still have that below average signal across much of the west coast, and the above average signal for precipitation. Again, that's a good thing here. It's the sun lovers aren't going to love it, but it's definitely going to benefit us as far as the water concerns are, as far as the water concerns. But if we take a look at the drought monitor, again, we still need it. We still have some drought out there. So this will be beneficial, and hopefully we can get some nice mountain snows out of this because we are well below average here across much of Washington, Idaho, Montana, and British Columbia here in northern Oregon. It's been below average as well. And you can see even portions of southern Oregon have dropped down below normal here in only one area here. Oregon closed basins. It's the only one that's above average right now. So we really need this troughing to really come through here as we go through the end of April. And it's not too late in the year. Sometimes it happens. Probably heading out tonight, and I'll probably chase this activity here across some of Kansas, maybe up towards Colorado, or maybe down towards the Panhandle or Oklahoma. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. I never know my exact chasing locations until I head out and forecast for that morning. I try to put myself in the best position, forecast the day of where you have the most recent data, and then try to find your spot. But you can see there is a tornado threat with this activity here as well. So if I can catch some cool data out there and get some nice photogenic tornado or two that doesn't do any damage to anybody out there, and then maybe Friday out towards Nebraska and Iowa, and then maybe Saturday back down here across Kansas and Oklahoma. But we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the clouds here, and we're definitely going to be dealing with that cooler than normal temperatures here for a while. Hope you don't mind, but we really need it here across the Pacific Northwest. And then, of course, we've always got the entire summer to deal with our very nice weather here across the Pacific Northwest. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.